Hello there, let's continue our conversation on Stoicism, going over the moral letters by Seneca. And I wanted to skip letter 49. I simply didn't find it particularly interesting or much to say about it. So, letter 49. Did I say 44? I want to skip 48. Sorry. Continuing with letter 49. And I'm skipping the first part. And I'm starting here where I think things get very interesting. Here's Campania, and it's incredible how this region, and above all Naples and your dear Pompeii, have made me wish for your presence all over again. Every bit of you is before my eyes. I'm leaving you even now. I see you blinking back tears, struggling in vain against emotions that cannot be suppressed. It seems only just now that I lost you. For remembrance makes everything just now, doesn't it? Just now I was a boy sitting in the house of Sotion the philosopher. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Just now I began to argue cases. Just now I stopped wanting to argue them. Just now I ceased to be able. The rapidity of time is boundless and is more evident when one looks back. For though it goes at breakneck speed, it glides by so smoothly that those who are intent on the present moment fail to notice it passing. Do you ask the reason for this? All the time that has passed is in the same place. We look on it all at once. All things are dropping into the same abyss. Besides, there cannot be long intervals within something that is brief overall. A lifespan is a pinpoint, even less than a pinpoint, but nature has marked even this infinitesimal point with a specious flow of longer extent, making one element in it our infancy, another our childhood, another our youth, another a sloping course, as it were, between youth and age, another old age itself. That's a lot of steps for such a narrow span. It was only just now that I saw you off, and yet that just now covers a fair portion of our lives. Let us keep in mind how brief those lives are and how soon they will run out. Time never used to seem so swift. Now its speed amazes me, whether because I perceive the finish line approaching or because I have begun to pay attention and compute what I have lost. I was reminded of this a little bit when recently I was at a function at work, and I sat down next to a dean who used to be my associate dean, and then she got a dean position in another school. I am arts and culture as a psychologist, and she is now dean of science. And we were talking. She was the person who hired me in my tenure track position, and my tenure interviewer, we call it the hearing, came up, and our tenure track period is 3 years. And she had this look of genuine surprise on her face, and she said, Did you not do the full 3 years? Did you only do 2 years? I said, No, I did 3 years. It was 2019 that I was hired by you. And she said, Has it really been 3 years? Obviously she believed it, right? But it took some thinking and reasoning in her mind, I could tell, to think, yeah, you're right, 2019 is 3 years, this is the third year. So I found it remarkable because it made me think about how time flies. And now I've had that hearing, and it went well, so that's great. Now I have tenure there. It makes me very happy. But that's not the point of the video. The point of the video is I remember myself starting out as a sessional at that institution, then entering a tenure track, and now being tenured, and all of that happened in the span of 4 years in total. And it's a strange sensation, because on the one hand, it feels like no time has passed. It feels like I started to work at this institution half a year ago. I remember my first day at work, the first classes I taught, the first students I taught, my first experiences with my new colleagues. I remember that. But that is now almost 4 years ago. And that's surprising. Because on the other hand, it feels very much like a lifetime. It feels as if I have been at this particular workplace forever, that I've never not been there. You are always the caretaker, sir, etc. So it's strange. It's a strange sensation. And I hear what Seneca wrote. I do feel that as we grow older, time does seem to go faster. I mean, I as a child in primary school, then later as a teenager in high school, I feel like a year would feel like it would go on forever, and then you would have your very long summer breaks, and those would seem to last forever. In primary school, we had a 6-week summer break, and it felt like an eternity. Whereas now in my life, 6 weeks is nothing. It just whizzes by, and before I know it, a month and a half are over. Taking a step. And that's strange. The ambiguity of that. On the one hand, everything goes so fast, and I don't know if it's because you get to a point in life where you've experienced so much. You've experienced the work and the flow of work, and you get into this sort of pattern of, I know what I'll be doing on Monday and on Tuesday, and that regularity makes things go by faster. But now I feel like I feel right now, and I'm recording this, what is it, May 13th? Friday the 13th. I feel like it was New Year's Eve 2 weeks ago. But we're getting to the first half of this year being over already. And a lot of strange things happened. It was the same thing with work. I told that dean that too. Yeah, but there was a pandemic and everything was weird, and is a pandemic, right? But I mean, it initially affected our work a lot. We went to online teaching and we worked from home. For over a year, I wasn't in my office. I was here at home, working from home, teaching online from home. And you don't see your colleagues, and that makes weird that whole year of the sort of the 2020 fall winter 2021 academic year has been a very strange year for me, because everything was online, and it felt like a very long period of time. But on the other hand, it also whizzed by because it was such a peculiar year. And therefore, yes, it feels very much like, in my case, for that tenure track, the 3 years took an eternity. But on the other hand, it feels like that period just started. I hope it doesn't feel that I'm rambling. I feel like I'm rambling. But I find it a fascinating phenomenon. I remember, again, as a child, that years seemed to last forever. A year seemed to last forever. But now it just flies by. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a good thing. It's just a thing. And I found it very interesting that Seneca comments on that it seems to go by faster as you age, because it's what I experienced too. And I don't want to repeat myself. I've said a lot of these things before. Seneca seems to find the passing of time interesting, because he writes about it a lot to Lucilius. But certain things as you grow older get so much easier. But your perception of time, I think, changes. And I find that fascinating. So I don't really have anything truly Stoic to tie into this beyond, well, Seneca wrote that, and so there you are. But it's interesting. And you accept it. And I think that's the most Stoic aspect of it. You accept that, well, there was another year. Happy New Year, and then you move on. And in some ways, I wonder if you experience that while I'm on this topic. But I feel that for me, as I've grown older, or am growing older, I know I'm not that old, but I mean older than I was, because that's how aging works. Anyway, certain things kind of lose their luster or their charm. As a child, Christmas was a massive thing. It was a big deal. And now it's 2 days and an evening. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just a thing. And maybe that too ties into you've experienced these things so many times. Or take birthdays. I've had a lot of birthdays, and as a child you can't wait, you practically can't sleep the night before, but then now I don't even feel anything. I don't feel special. Yeah, it's a birthday. Yeah. Okay. It's weird. It's weird. And I do apologize because I don't believe I had a particularly strong point in this video. I was just describing how this feels to me. And what I'm very curious about is, what does it feel like to you? Because all of us are growing older, and whether you're just turned 18 or whether you're 89, everyone grows older. Do you experience this too? This passing of time? Is it different for you? I just want to know because I'm very curious. I'll try to have a better point next time, but I just had to get this off my chest, I think. And Seneca put it so eloquently as he does. Thought it was interesting. I hope it was interesting. Let me know what your experiences are with the passing of time. I really look forward to reading the comments, so humor me. Let me know how you experience this, and if this sounds familiar, maybe I'm insane. That's probably. But I mean, if it's very different for you, I'd love to read it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for bearing with me, because this was an odd video. I don't feel I had much of a point. Sorry. I'll try to do better next time. #progress.